Yes! Hello, today, look! We got Zenkai Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. So while Emily is working on the thumbnail, I'm going to explain to you guys exactly what I think about this Vegeta. I haven't looked too far into it, but I noticed that they definitely updated him. They definitely made him a little bit more relevant. So there is that. So let's actually go over what I do know straight up. And then I'll also let you guys know what I think about it overall in the end, on paper at least. And then we'll see how he actually does in practice. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking already on the top of my head, without even having to do much more, that he has very good potential to at least be an S tier character. And that's pretty awesome. Especially because Vegeta family, they definitely desperately needed a beautiful blast-based red unit that wasn't the free-to-play unit. And this guy definitely fits the bill. So let's go off, first off, and let's look at the stats. So right off the bat, just like if you have him at 7 stars, this is his stats. His stats are actually quite respectable. And I know these are the Zenkai version of those same stats because of the border. It's gold, and that's how you know. So if we're really to compare, he pretty much got 30k extra strike attack stat. He got almost 40k-ish, 30 to 40-ish k in his blast attack stat. In terms of his defensive stats, it's, I would say, roughly 20 to 30k, roughly give or take, increase. And then the critical went up by like 100. It's not really a big deal. And the key restore speed, it went up by like nothing. It didn't. Just nothing happened. Yeah. Anyways, basically, the guy, like, you know, stats alone, you know, it's fine, it's great, but that's not what we're really here to talk about. So let's actually move on to the arts cards, and let's double check what are the differences. So strike, impact, it's the same thing. For the same blast thing, they haven't changed it. The only thing they've done is they've changed the costs of these cards. So instead of it 19 and 29, it is now 18 and 28. It's relevant. It's definitely helpful. So there is that. It's nice to have that. And then obviously his blue card is now cost 49. And his green card is cost 11. So, and his ult is cost 19. So everything has gone down by 1 to 3. Only the green one by 3. Everything else by 1. That's still legitimately good. And then if we take a look at the blue card, I just want to double check that the blue card is anything different. So yeah, there is one difference. Everything is the same except for the downgrade of blast by 30% versus the original was 20%. So that's pretty cool. That's very nice. I do appreciate that they are buffing this dude, even if it's in minor increments. Because to be fair, this guy does great damage even now. I think his biggest problem is that he was super squishy. So let's see if they fix that. For Crimson Roar, did they do anything different? Yes. So they've added one caveat. They change all of your strike cards into blast arts cards. Great touch. That's fantastic, especially since it only costs 11 now instead of 14. Very good. 14 wasn't too expensive regardless, but having it be 11 is just, it's nice. Beautiful. And then finally, his ult. Is there anything different? I don't think so, actually. No, there's nothing different. It's all the same thing. Same chance to feint, same damage cut, gain attribute, damage, sustain damage cut, same massive impact. It's all the same. So his ult did not need changing. Cool beans. Let's now move on to his main ability, because this is where we're going to really take a look. His Z ability did not change. It's the same thing. But, you know, I just wanted to, like, point that out there. Let's take a look at the main ability. Let's see the difference. So right off the bat, just starting off, he did not originally gain health nor ki by using his main ability. So the fact that he actually does this is fantastic. It just basically means that you will be doing lots of damage. You'll also be able to chain your ult at the very minimum if you have no other cards in your hand. That's nice. It just means that you can actually follow it up, and you're not in a situation where you flick your ability, and then you have to somehow regain advantage from the neutral fight in worst case scenario, and then hopefully hit, right? So it's nice that you're able to just finish off the combo nice and done right there. And then everything else, I believe, is the same. It's the exact same. Everything else is the same. The only thing they've added to this main ability was the health restoration and then the ki increase. And it's good enough. It's actually really good. With the stats, this is definitely going to follow it up. This is going to follow up really nicely. Now, what I really like is the Zenkai ability. So if we were to actually go over this like real quick. So what you'll notice is it's red and Vegeta fam. It's not red and GT. I like this. This is called future proofing. In case they ever decide GT ain't it. Well, if you invest in this as a Vegeta fan main, you're most likely going to get your value out of this. This is going to be great. So I am very, very pleased by this. I feel bad also for GT mains in a sense, because I totally understand how, you would love those buffs for Omega Shenron. But at the same time, I mean, this gives people that want to be, a Vegeta fan main and free to play a chance to use that free to play Vegeta and buff him up even further, because he still does fantastic damage. It's just that, this unit most likely will replace him in terms of being a mainstay on the team, versus the free to play Vegeta will just be the health buffer. But if you ever need a double red, Situazione right here. Beautiful. Love it. All right, but that's enough about that. Let's now take a look at the Ultimate Super Saiyan. I just want to see if there was any changes whatsoever, or if it's the exact same thing. And I can tell you right off the bat, I'm just looking at it now, it's the exact same thing. Nothing has changed. 20 timer counts, 40% on both. Restore key by 30. Okay, to be fair, this was a great ability just straight off the bat. I didn't hate it from the get-go, so this is fantastic. So let's move on to the next thing. All right, so for the red flash, did they do anything different, or is it the exact same thing? All right, and I'm looking at it, and they did change it. All right, so the original text, it read so while the character's on the battlefield, 30% damage to inflicted your next arts card when an enemy switches character, which cannot be stacked. It now reads 40% to next arts damage inflicted when enemy switches character while this character's on the battlefield, cannot be stacked. So the only difference is they've upped this by 10%. Okay. It's a nice touch. Everything else is the same. Red Flash looks pretty good to me. Obviously, how relevant is that last thing? It could be relevant, especially if you drop combo. That's going to be major upset. That's going to do tons of damage, actually. In fact, if you can drop combo and catch someone in the drop combo, like getting baited by your drop combo, and then let's say you blue carded or ulted, that could potentially be a dead unit right there and then. It's not guaranteed, obviously, but that could actually just kill off the character. All right, now let's look at the two final skills, the skills that actually are new, that you would only get if you were to Zenkai them up to either 3 or 6, depending how far you go. So if you're going to 3, let's see what you get. So applies the following effects to self when this character enters Batage. So you get plus 20% to key recovery for 15 timer counts. Okay. Minus 10 to special move arts costs for 15 timer counts. Okay. 100% to blast damage inflicted while enemy's armor is in effect cannot be canceled. So I got some super Gogeta vibes right here. Like the blue one, the blue transforming Super Gogeta. Or movies Gogeta, better to say. Like from the Borley movie. The DBS Borley movie. This is honestly a good skill. It's not meta-defining by any means, but it's nice. The fact that he has such good card cost economy plays a long way in feeling like you actually have key and you don't always have to be in that situation where you gotta, recharge or switch consistently. This guy actually is here to stay on the field. That's what they're really building him off to be. And that's nice. That's actually really nice, and I do appreciate that. And on top of that, now you don't have to be afraid to do a blast arts card into someone's strike armor if you know that could potentially just kill them. So that's awesome. I love it. All right, let's take a look at the last one. Then we'll give our full overview and see what's happening. Okay, a Rush of Hope. So he reduces damage received by 15% until combo ends when changing cover. Okay. I don't know how relevant that's really going to be, realistically. And then applies the following effects to self when battle starts. 15% to blast damage inflicted, cannot be canceled. And then reduces damage received by 15%, cannot be canceled. So he gets a total of 30% during a cover change, but it's incremented of 15 and 15. So it'll actually do, you'll apply the 15%, right, to your overall defenses. You'll take 15% of that and you'll add it on from whatever you also buffed it in terms of global buffs as well as your equip buffs. Then you're going to take your Rush of Hope and apply that extra 15%. Then when you cover change, you'll take another 15%, which means that you're actually not getting the full 30%. Just that's kind of how math works here. And I mean, it's not bad. I just wonder if that's going to be really relevant. I can definitely see this being relevant in a neutral matchup or in a, like when you have color advantage matchup. But when it's a blue unit, unless the blue unit is really old or you've debuffed it to Kingdom Come or it's just couldn't get enough buffs, I don't see him tanking still. I mean, I look at his stats and his defensive stats are fine, right? They're not the most amazing. And once you get them to like 14 stars, they are actually really good. They're at 181 and 177, but that still begs the question because a lot of units are easily breaking like 250k damage, right? So, and this guy is more of a powerhouse than he is a tank. So one of the things that Vegeta fam really needed out of their red was a unit that could tank, which this unit definitely can do some of that. I'm not saying completely, but definitely can do some of that. And he's a massive offensive unit. I can see that off the bat. It's interesting because I do believe that he is what they needed, realistically. But it doesn't push them enough over the edge to say that they would be a, you know, at the top of the meta. This isn't enough. This is a great unit, though, for the team. So if you are a Vegeta fan main, this is a must. This is honestly a must. If I were a Vegeta family main, I would have gone straight into this immediately. I'm not, so I'm gonna skip. But for those that main Vegeta family, this is a for sure ski. If you were to look at this or any new banner that's out there, I would go with the Zenkai Awaken. This dude is beautiful. Love it. So yeah, overall, I think he's a fantastic addition to Vegeta fam. He definitely pushes them to a whole new level, which is nice because they do have a tank in Angel Vegeta, the yellow one, the new one. He's a fantastic tank. You have Majin Vegeta, the blue LF, which is fantastic. And if you didn't want to run him, you could always run the Zenkai 7 Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, which is also fantastic for both hybrids, future, and Vegeta family, ironically. So he could be paired up with that other Zenkai, and that way you actually have your two tanks, and he can just be your offensive sword, as I like to call it. Just bring him in whenever he needs to actually deal damage, and with him having some niche defensive properties, he's definitely not something that you should overlook. So overall, I think he's actually a fantastic unit. I think that he definitely could be S tier. It's hard to say, though. It's really hard to say until you actually play them in practice, because sometimes they disappoint you, sometimes they play very well. I think it really just depends on how well the kit is usable. When a kit is easily usable and abusable, the unit then is better as a result. Whereas if the kit isn't abusable or as usable, then obviously the kit holds a unit back, or it's just not good enough for a unit to thrive in a meta that could potentially be volatile at any moment. So overall, I think if I were to give him a rating in terms of stars, I would give him a 4 out of 5. 5 only being given to broken ones because, let's face it, this guy is not broken, but he's extremely good. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't hesitate to tickle the like button, and you haven't already, subscribe, and click the bell for more notificaciones so you never miss another video. Have yourselves a salty day, and I will see you in the next video. Mana mana, Saitama!